We're taking it easy this week.
Hey, this is awesome.
Oh, fuck. Hey. Good to see you among the living, man. Check it out. It's the latest talent mix.
Thanks, Pete.
Good to see you all among the living. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talon Mix. It is a Smallville recap podcast. Normally, this week, we're going to do something we haven't done in a while. We're gonna catch up on some movies.
Movie check-in.
You know why? Because you know what? It's summer. We're busy. I'm feeling lazy. We're just gonna catch up on the fucking shit we like to talk about.
I don't think that's the real reason, Brian. I think it's because you are jonesing to talk about a particular movie.
I am jonesing to talk about a particular
movie. And you have been jonesing since you walked out of the late night showing of it last week.
Right.
Before we talk about it,
yeah,
we need to do an elaborate opening of the vault bit. Because we cannot talk about this movie unless we open the vault. Okay, now the retinal scan. Thumbprints.
Oh my God! Okay. Keith got in here. He died.
I'm gonna revive him. Keith is in here. Logan is in here. Oh no! Do we need to let Doctor Strange 2 out, or can
Doctor Strange can stay where he is for now? But let's leave the vault ajar just in case.
Yes, just we'll like put a book in front of it so he can't open it, but we can open it if we need to.
Doctor Strange 2, famously averse to books. All right. Yeah, basically, I want to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. Here's where I think
Should we just from the beginning? Hold on. We just start from the very beginning.
Is this not
a very good place to start? You, before either of us saw this movie, you were like, "I'll probably get around to it."
Yeah.
In a week or two, and I was like, "Oh, I got my tickets. I'm going tonight," which was Thursday, which was opening night. I'm not a huge MCU guy. I'm not even a huge Deadpool guy, but I enjoy the previous two movies.
Right.
Have a lot of love for Hugh Jackman as that character. I'm ready to go watch this. I'm ready to go have fun. So I got the tickets well in advance. You went to go see a film called Jaws?
I don't know if you've heard of it. It's from the 70s. It's got a shark in it.
Right.
I saw it in Richmond has an old, like built in 1928 movie theater called the Bird Theater, named after a Civil War general. Fucking yikes, Richmond! But it's an old, beautiful old movie house. Seats like over 1,000 people, which is nuts for a movie auditorium that I'm used to.
Yeah.
Has an original pipe organ that was played for silent movies at the time.
Yes.
Still operational. Before every movie, the pipe organ rises out from the orchestra section of this, because a movie theater used to be built like a theater. Like a proper theater. So the pipe organ rises out, and because this place is kind of a tourist attraction, they play the organ people come just to see the organ.
Did they play the Jaws theme on the organ?
He did a little bit as he was sinking back into the stage.
Yes,
but like he mostly just played stuff, and he played it for 20 minutes, which let me tell you is a long time to listen to a pipe organ.
Yeah, especially when you're jonesing for Jaws.
I was Jones. Start time was at 7. The movie started about 7:20, which with previews, if there were previews, that'd be about right. But
dude, that's early nowadays. At least the theaters I go to, it's like 7:30. It would start.
I saw a couple summers ago the Bob's Burgers movie with my brother, Pat, who's been on the show a bunch of times, and Pat legitimately like turned back and just shouted as loud as he could, "Do you not have the movie?"
Yeah, it's funny. That's great. So true, though.
But anyway, so it was cool to see hey, oh man, you got the organ. Oh man, you keep it in good condition. That's good. Oh man, 20 minutes of organ's a lot of organ. I believe their Halloween tradition, which I'm looking forward to taking part in this year, is in October. They show Nosferatu, and the guy plays through Nosferatu.
Ooh, not to go on another tangent, but have you seen the trailer for that new Nosferatu?
I love Robert Eggers, so I think Emily and I are planning to see that Christmas Day.
You know me, I've been pretty lukewarm on that guy, but that movie looks fucking good.
It looks good.
It looks real good.
I regret Robert Pattinson dropping out, but
who replaced him? Who was he?
Skarsgård. The Skarsgård who was it.
Oh,
is going to be Nosferatu.
Yeah.
But
Pennywise.
What? I know it's just, look, this is just the tangent episode. This is all the tangents in one episode. We just don't bother with the Smallville part. I don't remember that you don't like Eggers that much, or you're up and down on Eggers. What give me your Eggers scores by filmography. Did you like the Northman?
3 movies, right?
Did you like The Northman?
I thought it was kind of a miss.
I hate your guts. I hate your guts.
We've talked about this.
I forgot, and I clearly put it out of my brain because I hate you so much.
I wanted to like The Northman, and I thought it was a big nothing burger.
Oh, I hate you. Oh, why do I listen to your opinions on anything?
I don't know.
The Lighthouse?
Were you on drugs when you watched The Northman?
No, I saw it with my parents who hated it. So congrats, you agree with Kurt and Karen Miller.
Hey, I'll take it. I thought that scene in Salem's Lot was scary too.
The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse, obviously there's a lot to like there. I would probably give it I can't remember what I gave it on Letterboxd, probably a positive review, but I do think it's kind of a nothing burger also.
Fuck.
You
and
make
me so mad sometimes.
The Witch is the same. I've had the same experience with all 3 of his movies.
The Witch is my least favorite of those 3.
Yeah, I would say the Lifehouse is probably the best. And then the Northman, then the
I
Witch,
agree with your ranking, but I like all 3, I think, more than you.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely do. He's often lumped in with Ari Aster, and I feel like Ari Aster is way more my speed, even though his movies just make me feel awful.
I would also take Ari Aster if I have the option to see the new Robert Eggers versus the new Ari Aster. I'd rather see the new Ari Aster. But Robert Eggers is a must see in theaters for me.
But see, that is normally the case. But that Nosferatu looks fucking good, dude. And I've read the book. It looks like they're just doing the book, but really badass. No, I don't know. I'm hoping it's good. I hope. But,
I'm expecting to have a great time on Christmas Day.
Why wouldn't they release that in October? I don't understand.
Honestly, I love a Christmas release. One of my favorite things to do is a evening Christmas, go see a movie. So the fact that I can go see fucking Nosferatu on Christmas Day, no complaints.
No, I think I'm going to see it for sure. I just think it would make way more money in Halloween time.
I think
maybe I'm wrong.
I think
maybe they're worried about it being too crowded, and they're like going for Oscar stuff.
Maybe. I think the issue is the Northman has put him kind of in director jail.
They must have given him the green light before the Northman came out.
This was supposed to be his second movie, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oh,
he
wow.
wanted to do this next. This is a long delayed. He made it after Northman, but it was supposed to happen, and then it finally did. I went to just because we were razzing each other. I was stoned recently, and I was watching a whole bunch of over the last couple of days has led me into watching several episodes of Siskel and Ebert's At the Movies, specifically their worst episodes of whatever given year.
Worst movies of the year. Yeah.
First off, if all of the episodes of At the Movies were on a streaming service, I would just watch those. I would watch every single episode.
I wonder if it's a rights issue with the footage from the movie. I don't think so.
The footage, because you have, for the purposes of critique, you can show footage from a movie.
Yeah.
And that's always the rights that allowed that to go.
I think most of them are on YouTube.
I've been watching. I would love like good quality ones, but like I've been watching so I've been watching a lot. I was watching them all on YouTube.
You got that theme song stuck in here.
It's so good. It's so good. It's such a good show. And they're so good. And what's amazing, what's so amazing about their dynamic is they would talk about the worst movies of a year, and they do specifically state, especially by the late 90s, like we're talking about big Hollywood movies. We're picking on the big guys. We're not punching down.
Yes, of course,
because they were good.
No, famously they championed small movies.
Right. They'd rather an all-right small movie than an all-right Hollywood movie.
Yes.
But I deeply, deeply love the dynamic of they'd be riffing, they'd be like agreeing. And if you've never seen At the Movies, if you are only familiar with Siskel and Ebert, it's like 2 thumbs up. They were rival Chicago film critics. They wrote for rival.
They did not like each other starting out. It was a long journey for them,
and that dynamic always stayed. And that was the magic of like. You've definitely heard 2 thumbs up. What you don't maybe know as well is like 2 thumbs. Why 2 thumbs up was a big deal was they agreed on the movie. That means it's probably pretty good. Because
even when they agree, they're still taking shots at each other in the middle of their like.
So these like worst of the year would be like they would come up with like a silly category of like remake of a 60s TV show. I fucking hated this one. I fucking hated that one. I was like, well, Gene, I quite liked that picture actually. And Siskel would just look at like, Roger, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah, they got remarkably petty sometimes.
There was one bit, I rewound it 3 times. I want the clip on my little soundboard here. But Roger Ebert throwing his hands up. It's like, I'm glad when you like a movie, you have the entire national survey on what.
Have you? I'm sure you've seen the footage of them filming, like the outtakes of them, like really arguing with each other.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good.
Matt Singer, a critic I really, really like, wrote a book on them called just like 2 thumbs up. I got it from the library, read a little bit of it, and then had to bring it back to the library before I had really time to dive into it. But I'm looking forward to reading it for real. Because Matt Singer is great.
I've seen him on Letterboxd.
Additional tangent. So after we got out of film school, I did what you do with a Vancouver Film School degree, which is I stocked shelves overnight at a grocery store. And
I did that same thing.
Yeah.
That was my first job after VFS.
Yep. I did overnights at a grocery store for a while.
Yeah. I did it for maybe 3 weeks, and then I was like, I can't do nights. Sorry. I
did it to the point that it fucked up my sleep schedule for a long time. It was, and honestly, here's the thing. It was a good job, actually. Like some of the most money I made, probably. Period. I've had more braggable jobs that did not pay as well as stocking shelves overnight.
Right.
Because it sucks. And so they and it was also a union job because unions are great. But one thing I would do, it was the most podcast listening I did. I would listen to podcasts the entire time. And I listened to the IFC Films podcast by Matt Singer and Allison Wilmore. And that was one of my favorites, where they would just talk about movies from every week.
Yeah.
And so fast forward, it's 2023. My wife is, I forget exactly what she's exchanging. I don't know if it's books. It's something social. It's something not a big deal. But like, we're going to meet up on a street corner. My wife and I are going to go do something. We're going to meet up on a street corner with her coworker, Allison. They're going to exchange something that they were going to do. Don't remember anything else from that. But I remember stopping on the street corner and I see Allison Wilmore, co-host of the IFC Films podcast, who I listen to every week for years, casually exchanging social pleasantries with my wife. And I'm like, hi.
That's fun. That's funny.
I'm going to try not,
That's so cool.
I was so weird. It was not cool. I was so weird. Because I don't even think she remembers doing that podcast. That was in like the early days of podcasting.
Yeah, I didn't know there were podcasts at that point.
Right.
Okay, Brian, I'm going to bring us back out of tangent. This is the end of Inception. I'm tipping you out of the chair.
All right, here we go.
Back up. Okay, you watched Jaws. It's the night of Deadpool v Wolverine. No, Deadpool and Wolverine premiere.
Right.
As far as I know, you're going to go see Jaws. You're going to catch Deadpool when you get around to it. Right. I'm about to go to Deadpool. I get a text from you as I'm parking the car and walking toward the theater. It's like a screenshot of some like half-star review of this movie. And you say like, good luck, buddy, or something like that. And then I text.
I don't remember the critic, but it's a formal like newspaper critic, and their official review. It was Scott Tobias, and the actual letterbox update was hell on earth, half star. Right.
And you're like, good luck, buddy. And I text you. I'm walking in right now. I swear, within 5 minutes, I get a text from Brian that says, fuck it, I'm catching a showing in 5 minutes. Like, you just, on a dime, suddenly we're like, okay, fine, fuck it. If you're seeing it, I'll see it. That's fine.
That's pretty much, so basically, it was 20 minutes. It wasn't 5 minutes. But basically what happened was I got home from Jaws. And, okay, so it's also worth noting, I've talked about it plenty of times, I have a toddler.
Yes.
My wife and I do not get lots of time to ourselves. Just that's the general nature of things. My wife had mentioned, the bird is playing Jaws. If you want to have a yourself date night, go ahead, see Jaws. I got the baby. No big deal. So I actually I don't have a lot of friends here in Richmond yet. I moved here in January. Emily had an old high school friend that we've hung out with, also with a toddler. So we've hung out a couple of times. I took a swing. I was like, do you want to go see Jaws? So I had it. He did. We went. We saw Jaws. He had never seen it. He had a good time. He loved the movie. So we go our separate ways. I feel good about, I had a social fucking encounter in Richmond.
Right.
I get home. My wife's put the baby to bed. She's doing her own thing. And it's only 9:30. And I'm like, is there a showing tonight? I'm like, basically my wife is like, you go do your thing. I don't want to hang out with you.
Were you sitting in the front row? I'm amazed you got decent seats.
Wasn't a big deal at my theater. I didn't.
Oh, wow.
No, not at all.
Okay.
So yeah, I was just like, and then I was just like, do you mind if I just fucking go see Deadpool and Wolverine? And she was like, and my wife, who does not want to see that movie at all, was like, go ahead. So I popped out.
I come out of the theater after watching it. I have my opinions, but I generally had a good time. And I see the message from Brian that says, What I a lot hated it.
I think I hated it a lot. I a lot hated it.
So I'm going to turn it over to you, but I think you and I basically agree about what worked and what didn't with this movie, but you didn't have a good time and I did.
I'll also, I think so. I'll also say the following. Okay, just throwing this out there in case the edit is sloppy, which it might be. I saw the movie. I didn't like it. For Batman v Superman, Deadpool and Wolverine, there's no comparison here. These are not even in the same league of movies I didn't like. There was, I used the word hated. That's not even accurate if we're bringing like Batman v Superman into the picture.
Right. You're saying Deadpool and Wolverine better than Batman v Superman, just to be clear for the audience.
Much better. Not even in the same league. Like it's, oh man, is it like Batman v Superman? No. It's a movie. I philosophically have issues. But I guess I've softened on it in the coming days. I'm like, it seems like people had fun with it. My theater had fun with it. I know movie people are like, this is you had said, it's the Antichrist of movies, according to some critics.
Right.
And in academic ways, I see a lot of what they're talking about. But I'm a little like, if y'all had a good time, there are worse things to have a good time with. But I did not have fun with it. Except a couple jokes got me. There were jokes that I thought were good. I'm not an absolute fucking mannequin. Like a couple of the dumb cameos were like, that guy.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. So what did you think?
So just a little background. I enjoyed the first two Deadpool movies quite a bit. I'm not a super fan. I really find the Ryan Reynolds shtick quite funny and charming, specifically in the Deadpool stuff. And that might be because I don't think I've seen another movie with him in it since the first Deadpool, besides Deadpool movies.
Sure.
So I'm not like over it. I'm not like sick of it. I didn't watch Red Notice or whatever the fuck that was.
I did.
I don't watch garbage. So I'm not like, fuck, I'm over this. So the parts of the movie that were like basically the airplane movie of it all that's in here, I had a blast with, and I laughed my ass off.
I'm not like, you're crazy. Like, it's frequently funny.
Right. The parts where they try to bring emotion and pathos in, particularly with Wolverine, just fell completely flat for me. And that is as someone who adores the X-Men movies and Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, I just didn't think that worked at all, and I thought that mix didn't work. The humor with Wolverine stuff.
Right. I think this was a bad use of Wolverine. I'm only here because Wolverine's in this. Like, you did it. You got me in my fucking seat because Wolverine's here.
Yes. And on paper, that's a great idea.
It's
Wolverine and Deadpool and Hugh Jackman, and they have such good chemistry in real life. So it's like,
It's I was watching Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman on Hot Ones, and
I watched that too.
And he was asked, like, when, and I believe him. I don't believe this is just marketing push, but Hugh Jackman saying, like, when I saw Deadpool, I was like, oh man, shit, with Wolverine, like that would be a great fucking buddy cop thing. And I had said I was retiring like 3 days before.
Yeah. But that's not what they did. They didn't do the buddy cop thing, which was what they should have done.
Yeah,
they had to bring it. Just we've seen this so many times with Logan and Wolverine. This plot line, and it's like, fucking shoot me! I don't want to watch this again.
I think you nailed it with Wolverine is just a sad, depressed Wolverine. Like, what if we did something else?
Right. What if you plucked him from a relatively happy existence.
And it can still be
content.
Wolverine, still the grump,
Right?
But like,
no, like, say you plucked Wolverine at the very end of Days of Futures Past, like where he's like, "Oh, my friends are still alive. I'm working at the school. I'm Wolverine." Pluck him out of there,
right? I can't help you, Deadpool.
Right? Yes, exactly. You're an asshole. I can't help you. I don't think you're funny.
Right.
And then they have tension, and then they got to go kill some bad guys or whatever.
Right.
That's so much better than this like sad sack Wolverine thing that they're doing.
It's like Logan, the film Logan, perverted backwards into everything that Wolverine is. That Wolverine is sad and boring from a movie that sucks. And I know that's a quote unquote hot take. I know it's tough that we have a Smallville podcast and we hate comic book movies. I know that makes this podcast for no one.
Except we don't. There's so many that we love.
It is a weird kind of, but we don't love the MCU. And
we don't automatically just love shit because it's comic book. No, that's 100% true.
We used to. This is a podcast for 30-year-olds, 30-somethings who are kind of over it, and I understand that's a very, very specific demographic. But basically where my big issue was, and I don't want to overstate this. I almost walked out of the movie, but not out of rage, not out of like, I hate this. It was more of I'm very bored. It's getting late.
Yeah, it drags.
I'm not getting much out of this, and I don't see how this can save itself where I'm gonna get something out of it. And I didn't. And I think I could have walked out about halfway through and my opinion would not be different from how I feel about it now,
Right.
Which once again isn't to say I didn't have fun at all with it.
Here's another problem with the Wolverine thing. I was excited to see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine team up with Deadpool. I don't think that's what we got because I don't feel like he was Wolverine in this.
This just felt like another guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not just because
entirely
in the text, it's even like an alternate reality one or whatever. Like that's annoying, but I can get over that.
Right.
But he doesn't play the same character.
It's not.
He's a different guy.
It's not our guy. It's not the guy I was watching in 8th grade. Like it's not him.
No, and that's kind of a bummer. Now, the big thing that a lot of the like movie critic types didn't like about it didn't really bother me much, which is the cameo, self-referential nature of the whole thing, which I get. It certain times it doesn't work very well, but I don't know. It didn't bother me nearly as much as it seems to have bothered the community as a whole.
I'm going to put myself in this camp of it didn't bother me. Like I said, I had fun with The Flash. I had fun with Across the Spider-Verse. Is that what that fucking one was called? I'm okay with these like fucking nostalgia bow things, I guess. It just based on that stuff. The thing is, this time, in the year of our Lord 2024, with all this mold, you're not getting any extra points from me for that stuff.
No, for sure.
So, without the points from that stuff, there's not a lot here to chew on.
Sure. Oh, I agree with that completely.
And that's where I think I'm in like, fuck, make this
It's funny, I heard some people, like movie-type podcasters, say that they think it's like, it's bad that they were making fun of themselves. Like, I don't know how to verbalize this. Like, it's messed up to bite the hand that feeds as far as the comic book fans of it all. Like,
I don't agree with that at all.
Like, the movie's basically saying you're fucking stupid for wanting this, and then
I also don't think the movie was saying that.
No, I don't either.
I think it was I think it was very reverent to like, but like, no, I don't agree with that. I disagree with that vehemently. I think it's definitely for fans of that thing. Like, you can be a fan of the Fox franchise. I love the X-Men movies.
Yeah, me too.
It's a catastrophically messy franchise.
Of course.
And so I don't feel like it's taking the air out of it to acknowledge it's a catastrophically messy franchise.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, of course. It's interesting. I've heard a lot of comparisons to Spider-Man No Way Home, but I think the more appropriate comparison you just said it is The Flash.
So I have a question for you, actually, it tangential to that. Is it, and no holds barred here, you can't hurt my feelings with these movies because they're silly. Do you think, and I'm asking you this because I don't know myself. I'm trying to kind of figure it out myself. Is it fair that I'm giving The Flash a weird pass, but I'm like Deadpool and Wolverine, like, no?
See, I do think that is interesting because I view them in much the same way and the same quality.
Yeah.
But the world is viewing them differently too. You know everyone what? Hated The Flash.
Yeah.
And everyone, at least in terms of like the
my theater had a great fucking time with this movie.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they all liked it. So that's interesting. I think they're about the same subject matter, quality.
Yeah.
I think I give The Flash the edge because the Michael Keaton stuff works better than the Hugh Jackman stuff, in my opinion.
I fully agree. I think it's better.
Because it had been so much longer since we'd seen Michael Keaton in that role.
Definitely
that could be it. Or also that he retains the essence of the character a little more.
And then I think also we saw that first.
Right, yeah, totally.
You know, and I think that's a lot of... I think my opinion of this movie, of Deadpool and Wolverine, is a lot different if we don't have Across the Spider-Verse, if we don't have The Flash, if we don't have Everything Everywhere All at Once, if we don't have Into the Spider-Verse.
Or like, didn't the last 5 Marvel movies all have to do with the fucking multiverse?
I think I don't think the fucking Blade is here. As much as that was the one that I fully marked out. Like, fuck. All right.
Oh no, that was awesome.
Everything Wesley Snipes was doing in this, I was into.
And also because we know the backstory of he hated Ryan Reynolds on the set of Blade 3.
Yes.
So like, there's that movie geek thing of like, oh, they got him, right? They got him for it.
I also everything fucking Wesley Snipes said in this movie made me laugh. Everyone is aware of like how difficult the production of Blade is based on this movie. I assume it's done. But Wesley Snipes to be I'm the only Blade. I'll only ever be the only Blade.
I think they're still planning to do a Blade. I think it's still happening.
We'll see. But okay, so this is also part of it. You and I grew up with these fucking. We're very even. Look, I haven't seen a fucking Marvel movie in a while. I'm still very aware of what's happening. I'm very aware of that culture. There's a lot of meta knowledge required to think this movie's funny.
Yes, that's true.
The story, and they talked about how, like, oh, it's self-contained. And, like, no, you're right, the narrative is. But the only thing this movie has going for it is the jokes, is that it is funny if you like these kinds of movies. So I feel slightly bad for someone like my dad who just thought Deadpool 1 and 2 were funny. He doesn't fucking know an X-Men movie from a fucking Spider-Man movie.
Right.
Doesn't fucking give a shit about any of this stuff. He just is like, oh man, Deadpool's funny. I like that fucking Deadpool guy.
It certainly is the most self-referential of the 3 Deadpool movies.
So if I feel if my dad goes to see this movie, and I don't know how to explain this to him because he liked the other two, if my dad drags my mom to go see this movie, they're both going to be sitting there like, what the fuck are they talking? Why the fuck is that guy? Why is everyone laughing that guy turned into a fire guy? What the fuck is happening? Like,
I do think there will be a lot of that, but I do think there's also plenty of boner jokes, or like, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know if without the meta-textual humor of like, that guy from that thing, I don't know if there's enough of a movie there, dude.
Oh no, that's a perfectly valid criticism. I don't think there's much there outside of that, but I do think
I'm saying I hope so. I'm worried my dad's gonna go and have a bad time, and I love my dad and I want him to have a good time at the movies.
I think if we walked in an hour through and said, "Are you having a good time?" your dad would be like, "Yeah," and then
maybe you're right.
If we asked him when he was walking out of the theater, he would be like, "No," because that movie
you're probably
keeps
right.
fucking going.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the whole, the open secret is that the movies, when you say a movie's too long, you're not actually talking about the length.
Right.
You're talking about the pacing.
I've seen 80-minute movies that should have been 20-minute movies,
Right. Yes, exactly. So this movie is, it's on paper.
The runtime's not that bad.
Length.
Yeah.
No, 2 hours and 6 minutes.
Not that bad.
Compared to other comic movies coming out today, that's a breeze.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of a airplane movie, like this kind of comedy, you can't sustain it for 2 hours and 6 minutes at a time.
Right.
You just can't.
Right.
Give me an hour and a half tops of this, and get in, get out.
If this was 90 minutes, I think I would have maybe been a little more. Okay, so for comparison, the movie I saw 30 minutes prior. Jaws is 2 hours and 10 minutes. Do you know when I'm looking at my watch at Jaws? Never. Do you know when Jaws slows down? Never.
No.
And it's Jaws is not the special effects extravaganza that fucking Deadpool and Wolverine is. There are quiet moments in the movie that are fucking riveting. Riveting.
Like, there's a scene where Richard Dreyfuss comes over for dinner.
It's my favorite scene in the entire fucking movie.
It's fucking riveting, and they barely say anything. It's like brief conversation. It's all about body language and movement and staging. It's so fucking good.
This was my first time seeing Jaws since having a kid. And that scene directly follows they think they got the shark that killed a kid on the beach.
Right.
And the mom shows up.
Yeah, and slaps the shit out of him.
Slaps the shit out of Brody. Like, this is, if you haven't seen Jaws, like, this is, like, you knew there was a shark and you let people swim and my kid's dead. And it's your fucking fault. And here, and the bureaucrats are like, hey, Brody, this wasn't your fault. And Brody knows deep down, I'm the only guy who's going to do something about it. This was my fucking fault.
Yeah.
And so that immediately cuts. And so we don't get that. He doesn't say that literally to the screen. We follow it up with a scene with his own little boy. And he's watching his own little boy at the table. And he's realizing, like, fuck, that could have been my kid. And the line there after he does this goofy little, his kid is mimicking his little movements, and it's a very, as the fucking John Williams music is playing, and Brody says to his son, "Give us a kiss," and the little boy goes, "Why? 'Cause I need it." And I'm a father now, and that was so fucking real,
dude. But then Richard Dreyfuss comes over,
yes,
and the interaction is, it's so real, just the way people interact. They're not really talking about the thing. It's kind of awkward. He sits down. It's quiet for a minute. And then Richard Dreyfuss, the first thing he says to him is, "So how was your day?" Because he saw the slap, right?
Yes.
He saw that whole thing happen.
Yes.
And, he's like, "I'm here to bring you wine and,
right.
whatever, break bread with you." But Oh, it's so good.
Mixed with that of just, this is the most, seeing Jaws in a theater there is no better argument for the theatrical experience. I know what people say of, I can just watch it in my house on my big screen TV and I can pause it whenever I want and there isn't someone talking behind me, and I know it sucks when there's someone talking behind you. I know that. I hate it. I know it. It's worth the risk, because experiencing Jaws with the theater seats about 1,200. I would say there were about 500 people in this theater. Still more than your average theater, I think, seats about 300. So there were still a lot of people into this theater. You remember, like, Brody fills his water glass with wine to the brim. And that's a funny little scene when you're watching it at home. Laugh out loud, fucking funny with 500 people.
Every little moment in that scene is laugh out loud in the theater. You got him. He's pouring the wine for Richard Dreyfuss, and then Richard Dreyfuss does his little, like, okay, that's enough. That's enough right there. You're gonna want to let that breathe. Okay.
Yeah. Just the little chuckle moments are laugh out loud funny when you're in a crowd. And you can't, and to watch Jaws with, I could pick out, there were bits where I was just watching the theater and I could pick out, especially younger people who hadn't seen the movie before. And like the gasps, the leaning forward when it got intense. And God damn, old Stevie Fableman's, he still fucking got it, man.
Dude, the final act of that movie is about 45 minutes long, which if you ever needed to know that screenwriting books are mostly bullshit, just watch Jaws, because it does not follow any of that shit and it's perfect. So basically they get on the boat with 50 minutes left in the movie, and then that's the last act of the movie. It's just them battling this shark. Right?
Yeah, and it goes full adventure movie mode of, like, people describe. Yes. I've always pushed back on Jaws as a horror movie. It's an adventure movie.
But literally the last 45 minutes of that movie is just Spielberg doing his thing. Just like 3 guys on a boat, there's a shark, let me do my thing. Build up, payoff. Build up, payoff. The part that made me shoot my wad this time in the theater, it's just the tiniest little thing of when they're first fishing for Jaws.
Yeah.
And the big fishing pole, the thing starts to crank, click.
Yep.
Click, and then Quint's looking over at it. No one else notices. Oh, it's just so good.
You know what got me this time?
So good.
And Jaws has so much fucking texture to it. It's a movie I've seen 100 fucking times, but just seeing it blown up on a theater screen lets you, like, really, when you love a movie and really get to, like, look at all the little pieces of it. The show me the way to go home scene, and they're singing the song, and it's this tension relief, right? The tension between Quint and Hooper is kind of relieved. They found a mutual, like, respect for one another. They both realize they have more knowledge and have a deeper experience this than they're realizing. Singing the song, and then it cracks. The shark is around. Brody is still singing the song for another couple of beats when Hooper and Quint are like, yo, shit's popping off actually right now. It's time to get serious. And it's about that. I won't say I've never noticed it before, but, like, I was actually able to articulate that, how brilliant that was to myself.
The thing is, because Jaws is credited with destroying the 70s movie,
it did.
People forget that it very much is a 70s movie.
Extremely, yes.
It has those 70s touches of overlapping dialogue. And it's very of its time, but also modern. That's why it's the greatest movie of all time.
I find me a better movie than Jaws. You can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't.
There are a handful of other movies that if someone said they liked them, that was their favorite, I'd be like, that's fine.
I'm not judging anybody if Terminator 2 is their favorite movie. But, like,
it's not better than Jaws.
No.
You could maybe say there's some movies as good as Jaws, maybe. But there's no better ones.
There's not a lot of movies where the credits roll and it's truly like, let's go again. Let's fucking go again.
Run it back.
Run it back. Let's do it again.
Okay, so to bring us back, it is certainly not fair to compare any movie, but especially Deadpool versus Wolverine. It's not fair to compare it to Jaws.
No, of course not. Of course not.
No. But you'll notice Jaws has one climax.
Funny.
And Deadpool and Wolverine has, this is not just, this is a symptom of modern movies in general, specifically comic book movies. It's a little muddled. We have maybe 3 or 4 climaxes.
We're in that wasteland, and then we confront the...
right. That's the end of the movie, it feels like.
Right. And so they confront... she's supposed to be like Charles Xavier's twin sister. I was feeling like I was missing something from... I don't know if... It didn't matter, but like I was...
I went to the bathroom when they explained who she was, but I kind of gathered that from the context clues.
The explanation of who she was didn't, like, give me anything.
Yeah.
She's not from another movie or TV show, but, like, kind of feels like she could have been. I did not find her compelling. I found the actress was doing some interesting work. The character as written was not compelling to me at all. It was like, oh, she's Charles Xavier's twin sister. Am I supposed to know this from the comic? Because Patrick Stewart's not here. So I don't care.
Who gives a fuck? Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? She could have just... So, she's Xavier's twin sister. But also, if she was just fucking anybody, it wouldn't be any different to the fucking story. Cool. Great. Glad we spent Great. Cool. I cut 10 minutes off your movie right there.
Well, the problem for me is that when they escape from that place, they bring resolution to kind of Wolverine's story. They bring resolution to her story. Like she turns and is like, oh, okay, I'm kind of good now.
Right.
Then they get out and back to Deadpool's world. And then they kind of backtrack, and then they got to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can only watch so many revelations.
Yeah.
That characters have about themselves in one movie.
Right.
Also, is it just me, or were some of the effects real bad?
I mean, the movie looks like shit. This movie looks like shit, dude. It costs a bajillion dollars and it looks like shit.
Particularly the CGI on Wolverine during that big Deadpool fight at the end where they fight all the Deadpools.
I was simultaneously like, it's kind of fun that he's in the outfit for the first time, but like it looked bad.
Right, yes. That's exactly. Like I was like, oh cool, he's putting on the mask. It looked real bad. Not just the mask itself, but the CGI of him wearing the mask.
Yeah, and I get they were kind of trying to do the same thing with the eyes that like Deadpool's eyes do. It looks better on Deadpool than it did on.
No, they should have showed his eyes for sure.
It was bad. It looks really, really bad.
Yep.
I wasn't charmed by the end of there's the big dumb Wolverine like Deadpool. They're fighting all the other Deadpools. Scene. That's
what I'm talking about specifically. That's the CGI in that scene was like, woof.
I was very, very ready to leave by that point. There was one joke, they go through the bus, there's a pratfall, Deadpool like launches out the back of the bus and he hits the ground while Wolverine like poses cool, and I had a modest laugh at that one.
Yeah. At that point of the movie, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And so I'm ready to go, you know?
Yeah. It's, I also, the girl Deadpool, was,
Blake Lively.
Was Blake Lively. Did you, okay, so my wife, some of the stuff, the cameos were spoiled for me. And I say spoiled very goofily because if that's all your movie's got, you don't have much of a movie. It's my wife works in media, and so he was coming up, do you care if I spoil Deadpool for you? And I'm like, no, I don't. And it's like, Blake Lively's a girl Deadpool. Our conversations that happen in my house sometimes. And it's just sort of like, oh, God. But like, so, okay. In my theater, there was a moment where she shows up. You never see her face. It's a Deadpool. It's a lady Deadpool, blonde ponytail out the back of the mask, and you hear her speak. And I heard someone excitedly exclaim in the theater, "That's his wife!"
Yeah.
But it's like,
that's the thing.
Did you get that from the voice, or did you know that? And you're excitedly exclaiming the thing that you knew was going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have known. I don't think about Blake Lively that much, I guess.
I thought it was her based on the voice. I got to be honest. I didn't know. I was like, is that his wife? It's something they would do.
Yeah.
So I kind of expected it. But it is funny that we are criticizing this movie for being just, hey, recognize that thing from that thing. But I think two or three times different people in the theater do exactly what you're just talking about, which is, that's a thing. That's a thing from that thing.
I think for a lot of people, that is a thing they enjoy.
Look, you and I both would have enjoyed that 15 years ago quite a bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely, when we were children. It's
funny. The guy in my row who you could tell was a huge, like, Marvel guy. His biggest wad shooting moment was when Elektra popped up. He's like, yes! And I was like, first of all, bro, you knew she was going to be in this.
You clearly.
We all knew. That was
I didn't know that was a surprise, and it was the biggest.
Really?
I have not been following. And that one didn't make it to my wife to tell me with her eyes rolling into the back of her head. My wife.
But no one gives a fuck about Elektra.
It was for me an eye roll with a ha. Like that movie. Remember that movie? It was bad. Remember, it was a bad movie, and she's here now in this movie. Fuck, I'm mad at this movie. I was feeling a little more generous, and I'm mad at it again.
Although the shade she throws at Affleck was pretty funny.
What was that? I think I may have missed that.
I can't remember the exact exchange, but Deadpool or someone is like, "Oh no, Daredevil didn't make it," and she's like, "Eh." It's like, it's not so bad.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Like I said, Channing Tatum as Gambit was kind of, but once again, that's another joke that requires a weird amount of knowledge that Channing Tatum wanted to play this X-Men character Gambit, who never made it. Well, I mean, Taylor Kitsch did into X-Men Order. Once again, my dad has no idea who fucking Gambit is or what the fuck any of this is. So I don't know. I'm not that mad at it, but I'm a little annoyed that it made so much money.
Right. I think maybe you and I would have been more lukewarm on The Flash if everyone else was saying it was the greatest thing.
I think that's it.
We would have been like, no, wait a second, pump the brakes.
I think you're exactly right. If The Flash made a bajillion, it's like, this isn't any better than the movie that everyone hated.
Right. Yes, exactly.
These are the same. These are the same, actually.
I mean, they're basically the double feature. Double bill would be great with these two.
Yeah.
Or terrible with these two movies, but basically the same idea.
I think the Spider-Man one was better than both of them.
Yes. But I actually think, I guess that one is similar to these two.
I do think it's similar enough.
It is similar enough, but I guess what separates it for me is that The Flash and Deadpool are both heavily comedy.
Yes.
More so than the Spider-Man movie was, which was more dealing with drama and pathos and stuff.
Right.
You know, not that stuff isn't in there in The Flash or in the Deadpool movie, but the first thing is like, let's be funny.
Right. Okay. What were some final Deadpool? Let's go positive here. Were there other bits that made you laugh? I will. I'll start off. The very opening I thought was funny. Of like, all right, opening up on Logan's grave from the end of Logan. She's like, how are we gonna do? Like, how are we gonna do this respectfully? We're not. Made me laugh. Started me off on a good.
That was funny. That was funny. Although I didn't like the assumption that it felt like the movie was assuming that I revere Logan, the movie.
I think a lot of people in your theater revere Logan.
I think everyone but you and me.
I hate
like
that
two
fucking
other people.
movie. I think we've spent multiple episodes of this podcast hating that fucking movie because it's bad and you're an idiot if you like it. I said it.
Again, this is a thing where I bet if everyone was like, Logan is a piece of shit movie, you and I would be like, it's not that bad.
You're probably right.
But because people revere it, I'm like, no, sorry. It is like the most movie where a guy's going, comics are important, damn it. They're real serious business.
In a mid X-Men movie.
It's more adult if he swears and there's blood and it's grim. That makes it more adult, right?
Stop. I think we covered it with Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
In the hours we've talked about Zack Snyder.
Better than most Zack Snyder movies.
Absolutely.
Logan.
Yes. No question. Yes.
Okay,
Logan is better than any of the Zack Snyder movies. Yes. Period. But it's a similar problem where it's for 14-year-olds.
Yes.
It's for 14-year-olds who want it to be. I thought about James Gunn a lot during Deadpool and Wolverine. And specifically The Suicide Squad, a movie I liked more than you, but I think kind of similar to this. I had fun with it, but like I get it.
Yeah.
I think at least like there's something to owning that this is for 14-year-olds, not this is for adults that I respect.
Right.
If you're going to be juvenile, be juvenile.
Right. Yes. He fights. The climax is him fighting a clone of himself. Let's just cool it.
It's a fucking. It's actually a fucking serious Western. Yeah, he's getting chased down by a mean face fucking Hugh Jackman. While kids are making, I made this joke a billion times, but kids just doing X-Men faces. Are you fucking, have you seen a Western? Do you think this is what a Western is, you fucking child? And I'm not just to hold off any points of attack there. I'm not mad that it's not a Western. I'm mad that it's a shitty fucking movie. And the truth is, it's a mid movie that everyone is saying. It's a mid. Exactly. It's fine. I bet if I watched it again, I would go, it's not as bad as I remember. But,
no, I think both you and I think it's mid, and it's only because other people lionize it. So I call it the Blade Runner effect.
Yes.
Basically the same idea. People are like, it's a masterpiece, and I'm like, it looks good. Oh,
Blade Runner, not like Logan.
Yeah, Blade Runner, yeah.
All right. Any closing thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine?
Nope. I feel like should we put Logan back in the vault?
It should go back in the vault. Okay, do you want to do any other quick, scrolling through your letterbox, anything else you've watched in the last, 3 months that is worth noting? We don't have to do a play-by-play.
My streaming is not working on my TV.
Oh, no.
For the last month plus.
Oh, no.
And so I've been using the library.
Libraries are great.
And you know what's funny is I've watched more movies this month than I have any other month for years.
Man,
because I'm not spending time scrolling around on a streaming service going, what should I watch?
There's something to I brought this movie home and it's sitting on my coffee table and I have to watch it and I have to bring it back. There is something to that transaction that leads me to watch. I love DVDs of the library. It's great.
Yes, and there's no like other option really. I have a stack of them, but like I have to watch one of those.
Right.
So I've watched this month. I've watched 29 movies.
Damn, dude.
So far.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, almost a movie a day. I'm just going to list them off. I'll list off all the movies I've watched this month.
Yeah.
Little Shop of Horrors.
We'll talk about
Horizon and American Saga. We talked about that. Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. Strange Days. You ever see Strange Days?
No.
That's a Catherine Bigelow movie about New Year's Eve, 1999, but it was made in like 1994.
Oh, hell
so it's like a sci-fi movie. That's one we got to talk about one day.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Maxine, I watched. The Equalizer 3. Lost Highway, I watched for the first time.
I love Lost Highway.
I enjoyed it and I appreciated it. To me, it's like Mulholland Drive, but not quite as good. Like,
it's funny. Emily and I recently watched all the Lynch in Order, and I was really looking forward to revisiting Mulholland Drive, but Lost Highway came first, and I hadn't seen both since high school. So like Lost Highway really tickled me, and Mulholland Drive felt to me like Lost Highway, but not as good.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, Mulholland Drive blew me the fuck away.
Yeah.
So, but Lost Highway, I mean, God, Lynch is so good.
I deeply love people trying to figure out Lynch and like, what's this movie narratively about? And like, Lynch is desperately trying to tell you it's not. It doesn't all add up into anything. He's a painter, first and foremost.
Right.
He's like, what are you? No, it really is. How does it make you feel? Then correct.
And I do think there is a right answer for him. There's a meaning behind it. But not every strand is going to fit together to make a perfect
It doesn't fit together into a narrative.
Right, exactly. Yes.
And what is the meaning of it? My personal interpretation, which is all Lynch. Lynch wants you to talk to your friends about it and tell you like how it made you feel. And it's. I think it's a picture of Los Angeles. I think it is a painting of Los Angeles.
See, yeah, and his movies, and he's been very open about this, are basically dreams. They're like dreams.
Yes.
So you can't approach a dream with one-to-one reality logic.
And right, they just don't work that way. There isn't that's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I watched High Noon, Dead Ringers.
I haven't seen it.
That would be a fun one to talk about someday. Nope. Broadcast News, Long Legs, Rope.
Long Legs. You liked Long Legs more than me.
Yes, but I think we both agreed that I think
there are strengths and there are weaknesses to the movie.
It loses its way.
Yeah. I will say the first 5 minutes of Nope is the most unsettled I've been in a movie, period. Like,
yes.
There's a lot of good shit in Long Legs. It didn't all add up for me, but there's good shit in Long Legs.
Yeah. SWAT, I watched for the first time. Oh, man, that movie is the aughts. That movie is the aughts.
I don't think I've seen it.
It's so rooted in its time. It's unbelievable. I watched Annihilation, which I did not really.
Yeah, wow. You don't really do Garland. Garland's another one like Egger. So like, man, I haven't seen Civil War.
I love Civil War. I think that's the best movie of the year.
Wow. I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking forward to it.
Civil War, I really, really liked, but I did not like Annihilation. I turned off Ex Machina.
I'm actually struggling with you turned off Ex Machina.
Now, let me clarify. The reason I turned it off is because Gleason, what's his name?
Yeah.
Domhnall Gleason. His fake American accent was so fucking bad.
Has historically bothered you in a way that I don't notice.
Yes. And usually I can at least watch the movie, but his was so bad. I was like, I'm not subjecting myself.
That's
it's
so funny.
Yeah.
That has always really, really bothered you. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess he does do an accent in the movie. Is it bad?
So, some of them do a good enough job where it doesn't
Right.
bother me at all. But when it's bad, it's like,
Yeah.
ooh,
Yeah.
boy.
It's funny, just
Boy.
the little stuff.
Why couldn't he have just been a British guy?
I
in the
know.
movie?
I know. There's
don't
no reason
understand.
why not. It's funny, the stuff that is like scraping silverware on plates for different. Of like
Right.
I don't
Pet
like
peeves.
I don't like to hear it, but like for some people, it's like I can't. I can't.
Right, exactly.
And it's just
Yeah,
it is what it
everyone
is.
has their
Yeah.
own Pet peeves.
Yeah.
I watched Jaws in theaters, much like you. It was a great experience. I watched a movie called Clouds of Sils Maria.
That doesn't sound familiar at all.
It's a Kristen Stewart movie. Pretty decent. I watched The Blob. I watched the remake of The Manchurian Candidate. Here's a fun one. Have you watched Cure?
No. That came up a lot with Longlegs, I think.
Yes, that's why I watched it. Because
Yeah.
Longlegs. I mean, I haven't talked to the director of Longlegs,
Where is
but I'm
that
guessing
movie from? That's not an American movie. right?
Japan.
Yeah.
1997 Japanese movie. Longlegs takes a lot from it.
Interesting.
In its basic premise.
Yeah, okay.
They go in different places. But yeah, it was good. I would
Yeah,
recommend
I
watching
should check
Cure.
it. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, watch Cure. Breaking Away, Deadpool Wolverine, His Girl Friday, Twisters.
Yeah, you
That
were.
was my take.
I'm seeing averaging around. That's okay. From like to
Yes.
the bad side of that to the like all right side of that.
Yeah, no, anyone who said they had fun, I would not be like, I don't get it. It was fun. I mean,
Sure, yeah,
there's a lot
yeah.
of fun to be had. The effects are really good.
I'm in like it's one of those went from like I'm looking forward to it to like I'll catch it on streaming.
There's just a little bit too much where we're like, it's about the main character's trauma instead of about fun Twister stuff.
Right. You know
right?
what
Like-
Twister is about? It's about twisters. It's about,
Right, yeah. There's
it's
a
about
little bit
hurricanes.
of trauma in that, but it's like the alchemy is right. In
Right.
this one, the chemistry is off as far as
Yeah.
how much it's about trauma and how much it's about fun Twister
right,
shit.
Right. Twister, the film Twister is about yelling "Go, go, go" in vans.
Yeah, and like colorful side characters
right. Right.
played by future Oscar winners.
I think the original is a very, very pleasantly watchable, not great movie.
Yes, then the effects have aged not great.
It's the problem.
But it's
The
still fun.
problem is like, whenever it's Bill Paxton in a van going "Go, go, go," I'm having a great time. Whenever it's look at this spectacular set piece, I'm like, wow, this movie's from 1995.
I mean, that's a movie George Lucas should go back and
Yes, yes.
okay, I'm almost done.
Yeah.
I watched the Assassin's Creed movie, which I'd never seen because I heard on a podcast people saying it was underrated, and I don't think it is underrated. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen,
Sure.
but it's not good.
My wife loves those games, and I don't think has any curiosity of the movie.
Yeah, I never played the games really, so it was just like,
I haven't either, but my wife loves them.
yeah. I watched Dante's Peak, which maybe we'll talk about someday.
Maybe.
I watched a movie called Slapshot. Have you seen Slapshot?
Slapshot, the title sounds familiar.
It's a hockey comedy from the 70s with Paul Newman.
No, I haven't.
It has the distinction of being the most homophobic movie I've ever seen in my life.
Rad. Oh, awesome.
Like,
Rad.
oh, like you don't understand, Brian. I know it was the 70s, but it was like, whoa, buddy.
Yeah.
So I didn't really enjoy it. I get why people like it. It wasn't for me. Last night I watched The Big Lebowski. The night before that I watched Bone Tomahawk. You ever seen Bone Tomahawk?
It's on my list of one we know we have to do, and we haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah. But it was solid.
I heard it's fun. It's kind of fun. I heard it's like goopy and gory.
Yes, there's some real nasty shit.
I love nasty shit. So,
But what recommends it for me is the characters are really good and the acting is
I
spectacular.
reckon it's one of those like we gotta see it, and then we never get around to it. I reckon I'm gonna be glad I see it when it'll be there for me when I really want it.
Yeah.
When I'm really in the mood for specifically that movie, it's gonna shine and be there for me.
So that's my month. Your turn.
Great. I haven't watched this. I'm gonna real fast through June, July. I watched Demolition Man for the first time. That movie is funny, and all the cops in your hometown think that they are the Demolition Man. They are Rob Schneider in Demolition Man. I watched Arena 1989. It's like Rocky, but it's got aliens. And you know what? It wasn't half bad for a direct-to-VHS movie.
The question is, was Rocky missing aliens?
Maybe. Rotten Tail, bad. Bad, but I respect it. A lot of people, this was on the last drive-in, a lot of people like, Rotten Tail, boo, bad. I'm like, bad, but like I respect it. Hitman, Glenn Powell, Richard Linklater, had a lot of fun.
Fun.
Graduation Day, bad. Death Spa, good. Under Paris, bad. Bad shark movie, but it's got sharks in it, so it kind of held my attention the entire time. Project Metal Beast, bad, but it's like, hey, there's a metal werewolf in here, and it does have a metal werewolf, and that's what I asked for, so hey. 12 Angry Men, great.
yeah, pretty decent movie.
Pretty good. I don't know. If you haven't seen 12 Angry Men, I recommend it. The Fly, good. Yeah, very good. Great. The Muppet Movie, one of my all-time favorites. The Fly.
Never seen it.
You've never seen the Muppet Movie? We got to find it. Movies with puppets. We got to find an excuse to do.
Yeah.
On a future podcast. The Original Fly, good. Die Hard with a Vengeance, great. Night at the Museum.
Yeah, baby. You watched Die Hard with a Vengeance? Why don't you tell me that? That's fucking. I
watched that Father's Day. My wife let me sleep in. She got up with the baby. I got to sleep in. When I got up, she made bacon, egg, and cheeses. She watched Die Hard with a Vengeance with me.
What a dad movie!
It was the ultimate dad movie. It was great.
Yeah.
Night at the Museum, directed by Sean Levy, director of Deadpool and Wolverine. I would say it was about as good as Deadpool and Wolverine. Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, I had never seen before.
The original or the remake?
The original.
Oh, yeah, the original's good.
Great. Great. Funny. Really
pretty funny movie. Yeah. Walter Matthau is like the guy at Mission Control or whatever who's just cracking jokes.
Yeah.
It's
while still being like intense and like the danger of the situation is still
very dry. Yeah.
1974, if you're like, oh, old movie, boring, not boring, great, moves at a great pace. Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3, highly, highly recommend. 1977, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. My daughter's stomping around, so I'm throwing stuff on all the time. Great, delightful. The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, the 90s show, also wonderful. Wonderful. Donnie Darko. When's the last time you saw that one?
I watched it within the last couple of years, and I held up for me. I liked it.
I'm also in it holds up. I don't know if it's like good, but I found it very compelling the entire time.
No, I think it is good.
I liked it. I liked revisiting it. All right, moving into July. Little Giants? Huh? We watched it on a Saturday afternoon on Tubi. It's Little Giants. What do you want? It's for kids. I remember it fondly. From
Rick Moranis, baby.
Yes. Tarzan, the Disney one from 99. Not a Disney favorite, kind of a dark horse in the Disney world. There's a lot of Disney stuff on in my house. Tarzan's not that much worse. It's fine. It's not great. It's fine.
I saw your positive Letterboxd review, and for a second I thought you were reviewing the Tarzan movie from a few years ago with the Skarsgård.
No, I was not. I was reviewing the perfectly fine 1999 Disney one. It looks like the script's bad. The animation looks like a bajillion bucks, and it's like 80 minutes. It's not.
Yeah.
A big deal. Let's see. I watched Twister. Wet Hot American Summer, one of my all-time favorites. That's a yearly watch for me. The Idea of You. Speaking of Wet Hot American Summer, is Michael Showalter directed. This is the Anne Hathaway dates a younger man.
Oh yeah.
Movie. I was kind of vibing for a little bit. It was weird to watch with my mom, who had seen it 3 times. That's a weird thing to do. But Anne Hathaway is good at being in movies. I'll say that. Nothing else is very good about it. You're here, Zach. Yes. Just throwing out there now. Maybe we had technical difficulties. Maybe I managed to edit it out so it's smooth and you don't have to hear this part. Basically, it's not a good movie. It's a bad script. It's a very repetitive conflict. But Anne Hathaway's hot, and it's a movie about Anne Hathaway being hot. There's a bit where Anne Hathaway is nervous to come out in a swimsuit because she's old, but she looks like Anne Hathaway.
Oh my
so like
gosh.
I'm struggling with that part a little bit. It's that said, it's, you know what it is? It's a fantasy wish fulfillment movie for older women, and there don't have to be wish fulfillment movies just for white dudes.
No.
It's okay that they exist for somebody else. Cabin in the Woods. I don't know when the last time you saw this one is. My wife just threw it on. She likes it more than I do, but we both quite like it. A very pleasant revisit.
Fun movie. Yeah.
A perfect random Saturday afternoon watch. Spider-Man 2 is a perfect movie. I think Spider-Man 2 is almost Jaws level good. Not quite, but almost.
Look, I get it. I think Spider-Man 2 is fantastic, so I'm not gonna split hairs with you.
It's the and like, in the truth of the matter is, like, if we were to break it down, maybe it's not perfect, but just hits every button I want in a superhero movie. I'm having a great.
It's about as good as those kind of movies can possibly be.
That's where I am. Great time. Did you see 47 Meters Down?
No, I didn't. I saw the one where they go up really high.
This is the equivalent. This movie is the equivalent of that. I think that movie was called Fall. This is the equivalent of that, but down and there are sharks. They're same in a lot of ways. They're good in a lot of the same ways and bad in a lot of the same ways. I had a good enough time watching this randomly.
Deep underwater stresses me out. So
yeah, there was enough scary shark stuff that I was like, it would really suck if these young ladies got eaten by a shark.
Yeah.
Recommend is a strong word, but you could do worse if you want a sharksploitation movie.
Gotcha.
Abigail. This was from this year. This is the guys who made Ready or Not, which I quite liked. This is a crew of bad guys are hired to kidnap a little girl. Uh-oh, the girl's a vampire. Almost fun. Frequently almost fun. Not quite, though. But it's not that long. You could do worse. It's good enough that I wish it was better. That kind of thing. 47 Meters Down, Uncaged. The sequel to 47 Meters Down. It's just good enough to kill 90 minutes. It's good enough to be not that bad. Well, everyone, my internet shit the bed right here at the very end. So I think we hit most of what I wanted to talk about. I don't think we had any further insights on anything. So thank you for listening to the Talent Mix. We'll be back next week with the episode Crimson. It's a good one. You're going to enjoy it. Thank you again for listening. There's a way on your podcasting app of choice to indicate that you liked listening to this episode. We'd appreciate it if you did that. You can find all of our other stuff at bit.ly Brian Zach Pod. I'm burping into the microphone. Once again, that's bit.ly Brian Zach Pod. You can find our Patreon there. Our Patreon is filled with people who are supporting this show out of the goodness of our hearts, goodness of their hearts. Fun stuff is coming there soon, we promise. And finally, I texted Zach if he has any question for the Smallville gods. He has asked the Smallville gods if they can fix my internet. Good night, everybody.